Have you ever wondered how to keep your team focused? Well, today we're going to dive into that with some incredible connection between leadership and communication. You'll see that in just a minute.
Welcome to Advance with Mike Acker, the podcast designed to help entrepreneurs, business leaders, and professionals alike break through barriers by improving their practical leadership skills and increasing confidence in speaking. Your host is a best-selling author, executive coach, and founder of the Advance Public Speaking School and Advantage Publishing Group, two companies dedicated to providing an edge for leaders. Find out more about Mike at mikeacker.com. Now here's your host, Mike Acker.
Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast or to the YouTube. Take a moment, subscribe, share, like, or pass it on to somebody else. Today, we're going to be talking about this incredible, interesting connection between speaking and leadership and how it applies to really keeping people focused. Now, remember, this is a no-edit, one-shot show. And so, all the way through, I'm going to be going without making any kind of crazy cuts. I'll go between a couple different angles, but really, this is so that you see that when you speak, what you do is what you do. And if you're a nervous speaker, something I talk about a lot, then it's not going to be the end of the world if you make a little mistake. And if you want to, reach out to me, we can talk a little bit about that. But speaking and leadership go hand in hand. Something I say again and again, and I said it just recently, that when you speak, it actually makes your leadership look better. And then when you can't speak, it makes your leadership look worse. Go back to the very first video of this whole advanced podcast, or very first audio, and you can go ahead and see that connection a little bit more. So let's use our speaking and our leadership together to create an incredible way that we can keep our team members focused. Do you know what I'm talking about? Are you leading a team, managing people? Maybe you're a small business owner, you have some employees. I know I have some businesses, I have people that I have to direct, I have people that I have to keep focused. So how do we keep people focused? Let's go back to some communication coaching right over here. That when it comes to communication coaching, I tell people again and again and again that there are 3 questions you should ask every single time that you're getting ready to talk with people. You should ask these 3. It starts way down here in backwards order with who. Who am I talking to? Generally, I know that in this podcast, I'm generally talking to professionals who want to advance in their career, break through leadership and communication barriers. Now, are there some other people that listen? Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you are tuning in. Thank you for being a part of this. But generally, that's who I'm gearing this up for. So who are you talking to? And then what are you saying? And what are you saying is a huge question, because a lot of people, they go into some kind of speech, some kind of dialogue, some kind of presentation with no clear idea of what they're really trying to get across. And one time I asked someone, what are you trying to get across? And they said, well, isn't it obvious? I got these 40 different points right here. I said, well, it's obvious to you, but they're going to walk away going, what was I supposed to know in that? So when you know what you're trying to say, then it brings about clarity, and clarity brings about confidence. So it's a huge question that you should ask as you're getting into your presentation, or actually before your presentation. In fact, what do I want to say right now? I want to say that to keep people focused, there's 2 questions that you should be asking in communication and 2 actions that you should be really leading when it comes to leadership. We'll get there in just a minute. So communication coaching, ask what? That's the second question. The first question I ask people to ask themselves is why? Why are you doing this? Why am I doing this? And I believe that this will help you feel better about your leadership and be a better leader, which will help them feel better about your leadership as well. So my ultimate why that I have firm conviction on is that this right here will help you. So why are you doing what you are doing? And ultimately, it should come down to something. I talk about this in my yellow book, Right to Speak. It should ultimately come down to something personal, not something production oriented. In other words, I'm not doing this because I have to make money or because I was asked to. I'm doing this instead because I want to help people. And I believe that the words I say is going to help people. Knowing the why behind what you say gives purpose. So knowing the what gives clarity and direction as to what you're going to say. And knowing the why gives you purpose. It gives you conviction. It gives you belief that what you're saying actually matters. So that's a little communication coaching for you. And the parallel is over here in leadership. Now, for eons past, in fact, actually since the 300s of the Wei dynasty, people have used a form of knowing what to do called the KPIs, or key performance indicators. And then these were wildly popularized when Dr. Kaplan and Dr. Norton created the balanced business scorecard. And so if you're not more familiar with key performance indicators, they're kind of like a SMART goal for business. They're key indicators that someone is performing up to the level that you expect and that they realize that you expect. So everybody's on the same page. So it gives a lot of clarity. Now, probably most people who are in management here, you operate with some sort of key performance indicators. You have a way that you are clearly measuring the success and the direction and the activities and the outcomes and the productivity of the people that you lead. And if you aren't, then you should. The difficulty with KPIs is that they can give direction but not purpose. They can tell people what to clearly do and goals, but it won't tell them why they're doing it. So right now in the United States, there's something we call the Great Resignation. I don't know who came up with that term, but there's a lot of people resigning. And when lots of things happen in the United States, we add on the word great to it. So the Great Recession, the Great Depression, the Great Resignation, the Great Reshuffle. We'll see what history calls this period of time. And there's a lot of different reasons why. But one of the reasons why is people don't know why they are doing what they're doing. A lot of people quitting their jobs, they know their KPIs. They know what they're doing. They just don't know why it matters. They don't know why it matters to others, other than it's something that needs to be done. And they don't know why it matters to them. Like, what's their role in it? So here's the key thing that you need to understand, that KPIs without a why give direction but not purpose. So if the what of communication is the KPIs of business, then the why of communication is the vision of business. Why are you doing what you're doing? We understand vision is important, but there's two ways to speak and lead vision into those that we lead. And here's how. We got to drop the vision, and then we got to drip the vision. We got to drop it like it's hot. Like, we got to let them know what we're about. And a lot of people are good at dropping the vision. In other words, it's momentous and it's time consuming and it's big and it's grand and it's visual and it's spectacular. I was working at Patterson Companies and bam, the vision got dropped. I'm so excited. My words are going all over the place. And the vision got dropped and it was visual and we are Patterson, all kinds of big things were happening. It was amazing. It was big and there was events that took place and launches and there was all this time that went into it and bam, it got dropped. I was working with a CEO and he was getting ready, and a fantastic CEO of InnoApps, and he's just done incredible work and kind of an Oracle related company, and just Andy Bird, check him out. He's really a thought leader. It's worth checking him out. And we got ready to drop the vision. He knew what he wanted to say, and I got to work with him to help him put together his words for several different events. He went to Malaysia in his company, in Dallas, and he went to the UK, and he dropped the vision of where they were going next. And it was big, and it was visual, and it was grand. So we need those because it draws our attention to something bigger. It doesn't always have to be as spectacular as what I just mentioned, but there can be a moment where you take it and frame it and put it up on the wall. Now, don't do that only. Not only do you want to drop the vision, you want to drip the vision. See, right after Patterson launches, or right after InnoApp launches, or right after you or Microsoft or whoever rebrands and drops a brand new vision, immediately the vision begins to leak. Think about when you have a big, huge balloon. You fill it up, but over the course of time, it slowly leaks. And this happens in a lot of different areas of life. And so you can't become stagnant, and you got to keep on dripping vision in, even as vision is leaking out. My guess is that a lot of people are really good at dropping the vision because it's one time and then you can move on to the next thing. But if you don't drip the vision, then you don't keep people focused on the vision. They got inspired, but they now need to be reminded. They got moved, but now they need to keep on moving. So you need both aspects to really keep people focused on the vision. Why are you doing what you're doing? Well, we dropped it big and it was amazing. And we had successory posters all over the place and it was amazing. This is what we do. And over the course of time, so why are we doing this again? And that's when you got to drip that vision in again and again and again. For years, I've led in different areas. And one of the things I learned fairly early on was this principle right here. It's just an essential principle of vision. And so I would drop the vision. I would do these big vision nights and vision days. But then I would continually leak the vision or drip the vision in because I knew it would leak. And so in our staff meetings and one-on-ones, we would talk about it. In my current role, I have just a couple team members, so nothing large. And yet I need to keep on dripping the vision into them. And I need to do this for my family. My wife and I, years ago, we went out to a bookstore and we came up with this family motto, our vision, our mission, our values. This is what Ackers do. And we dropped it. And we're like, this is what we do. We had it on a frame. And we've talked about it with our son when he got of age. And we're like, this is what we do. But then vision leaks. So in order to keep my son focused in this crazy world, and we live in a crazy world, in order to keep him focused on values that we have established, we have a way of leaking it to him on a regular basis. And so as we're going into car line, I'll say, well, what are Ackers about? And as I'm laying with him in bed, and as my wife and I were tucking him in the other night, we talked about what we do, and we weave it into our prayers, and we're just weaving it in all these areas because we know that he needs a constant infusion of vision to know why he should act the way that he acts and the way that we want him to act. If you want people to keep them focused, you need to not only put the vision out there in a compelling way, but also to put the vision out there in a way that it stays in front of them so it doesn't leak out. Now, this is an incredible time to just share this with you. I'm so glad that I got to be a part of this. This is something that I recently had a chance to share with 450 people and really believe it's not just something that managers need, but people who want to break through the ceiling and people who are at the very, very top. And I do a lot of different talks. So if you want me to come in and do something for your team, whether it's a workshop or do a conference like where I was speaking part of this at, I love to share what that would look like with you and have a conversation. Anything to help you advance, whether your group, your crowd, your audience, or you personally. And thank you so much for tuning in this week. Go ahead, take a moment, like, subscribe, comment, share, and I'll see you on the next show.
Thanks for listening to Advance with Mike Acker, a podcast designed to provide an edge for leaders through improving practical leadership skills and increasing confidence in speaking. Mike is a best-selling author and business owner who has helped many leaders increase their skills and their confidence, propelling them to new heights in their personal and professional endeavors. Join an incredible group of professionals taking the steps to become better leaders at connect.stepstoadvance.com. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.